Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Badan Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Kartushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarurvyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once again, our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. We are discussing Sri Ishopanishad. We have covered till now mantra 5 and before. Now we'll be entering into mantra 6. So mantra 6 talks about how the Lord is different from his energies. It talks about the vision of a sadhu. How does a sadhu look at Krishna's completeness or absolute truth's completeness? How does the sadhu look at the world? How does the sadhu look at the living entities? So what's the vision of a sadhu, a true sadhu? That's described in mantra 6, mantra 7. And mantra 8 describes the qualities of the Supreme Lord. Not exactly the qualities of Bhagavan, but the qualities of Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Also Bhagavan, because Paramatma means that includes Bhagavan, or some aspects of Bhagavan into it. So there is an overlapping, but in general, Paramatma. Mantra 6, you can see on the screen. It talks about what? It talks about the vision of oneness. And as I said, it describes the nature of a sadhu, the vision of one who can see Krishna everywhere. Now, Sri Baladeva Vidyabhushana Prabhu gives a very beautiful comment in explanation to this verse or this mantra. The previous two mantras, they spoke about the inconceivable nature of Krishna, isn't it? Can someone give me an example how Krishna is inconceivable, or what inconceivable quality of Krishna was mentioned? There are many qualities mentioned. One can tell one, another one can tell another. So what was mentioned? Yes, Vimala Mataji.
Walk and cannot walk.
Yes, can walk, cannot walk. What next?
Krishna is present everywhere.
Present everywhere. Yeah.
He's far also and near also.
Yeah, he's far also, he's near also. Is
inside as well outside.
Is inside, is outside, right? So these contradictions were explained. So after the Lord is explained, now it will be explained how one should worship that Lord. Now this is a very interesting and deep comment by Baladeva Vidyabhushana Prabhu. This mantra, when we'll read the translation of it, it may not appear to us immediately. How does this mantra teach us the worship of Supreme Lord? Because when we say worship, to us worship means having a bell on one hand and having incense in the other hand, or having the lamp in the other hand and doing ting, 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 and offering the article to the Supreme Lord, or going to a temple. So we have a particular understanding of what is worship. Here, the worship which Baladeva Vidyabhushana Prabhu refers to is not something which is done as an external activity, but as an internal meditation. The act of doing ting, 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 ting can be done only for a few minutes in a day, right? But the mindset which I must be having is something which can be done, or which has to be taken care of every single second of my day. So Baladeva Vidyabhushana Prabhu is telling here that a devotee of Krishna worships Krishna by a particular attitude. Bhagavad Gita describes that as Buddhi Yoga, the yoga of attitude. Buddhi means intelligence, but the word Buddhi also means attitude. So the yoga of attitude. That attitude is being explained in this mantra. So what is that mantra? We will come to this point of how this mantra refers to worshipping the Supreme Lord later. If I forget, you remind me. So the mantra goes like this. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva nupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva nupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. This is something similar to 6.30. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chame pashyati. Two things are there that is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. One is to see Krishna everywhere. And the other thing is to see everything in Krishna. One is to see Krishna everywhere. The other is to see everything in Krishna. Are they the same thing, or are they two different things? Seeing Krishna everywhere, seeing everything in Krishna. Same or different?
Maybe there's a slight difference, Prabhu.
Maybe. Is it maybe or is it sure?
That you have to certify.
Okay. What about others? Is it different? Is it same? Or is it achintya bheda bhet?
Different.
Different.
It's just as different, Prabhuji.
Different. Sachdev Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, to see Krishna everywhere means that you are seeing Krishna's expansions everywhere. And to see everything in Krishna means that you are seeing everything in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so you mean to say it's different?
Yeah.
It's different. Okay. Yeah, Ramakrishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I see Krishna everywhere, referring to the Brahman aspect, and everything in Krishna referring to the Paramatma aspect. I'm
Everything
not sure.
is okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say everything in Krishna, maybe not Paramatma aspect, you can say Vishwarup aspect.
Okay.
Universal form. Everything is in the universal form, right? So that way. And that Vishwarup is just a material manifestation of Paramatma's body. So in that way, everything is in Paramatma. So Madhvacharya now explains in this way. To see everything in Krishna means what? To see everything has Krishna as the support. To see everything in Krishna means to see everything has Krishna as the support. Okay. And to see Krishna in everything, what does it mean? To see Krishna's control in everything. That control is through his energies. See Krishna's control in everything. In this way, when a person sees Krishna's control in everything and sees everything being supported by Krishna, one sees Krishna everywhere. But this seeing Krishna everywhere is of who's seeing Krishna everywhere? A person who is seeing Krishna everywhere on the level of jnana. Okay. But a person who is at the level of bhakti, for him seeing Krishna everywhere and seeing everything in Krishna means Sakshat 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗁 is seeing face to face everywhere, in everything. So the same statement depends on who the person is, applies differently. For a pure devotee, it's going to be real, Sakshat 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗁 Bhagavan Krishna, face to face, everywhere, in everything. For a person who is jnana, Mishra Bhakta, or let's say a jnani, seeing Krishna everywhere means what? Seeing Krishna as the support of everything and seeing Krishna as the controller of everything. So we definitely are not on the platform of seeing 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗁 Krishna everywhere at every moment. But we can practice at least the other thing of seeing Krishna's control in everything and Krishna being the support of everything, using our understanding of the scriptures. We can practice that. Why we practice that? We are not supposed to become Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, but we will use the stage of Jnana Mishra to go to Shuddha Bhakti later on. We'll come to that later. So this is Madhvacharya's comment on this. And then here the word, we'll look at the words first. I mean, look at this particular verse, some words first, and then we go to the purport by Srila Prabhupada. I'll take your question little later, Mataji. So now, let us look at this. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani evanu pashyati. That person sees all the living entities in relation to the Supreme Lord. That's first, okay? Sees all in relation to the Supreme Lord. Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam, and the super soul in every living being. Okay. Anupashyati. That person sees in a particular manner. We'll look at this word anupashyati later. Tato na vijugupsate. What is the experience and what is the result of this kind of vision? That person does not hate anything or does not hate anyone. When someone develops this vision, the result is you don't hate anyone. You don't hate anything. Why will you hate anyone? Because you see Krishna there. How can you hate? Why will you hate anything? You see Krishna there. So how can you hate? Example, Prahlad Maharaj. The poison pot is Krishna. The snakes are Krishna. The mountain cliff is Krishna. The sky is Krishna. The earth on which he's going to fall is also Krishna. The elephants who are trying to crush him, that is Krishna. The fire in which he is going to sit, that is Krishna. Everything is Krishna. So you don't hate anyone because Krishna is there. So that vision develops. Now, whose vision is this? Is this a vision of a Kanishta Bhakta? No. Is this a vision of a Madhyama Bhakta? No. This is the vision of an Uttamadhikari, Vaishnava. Topmost Vaishnava, right? Topmost Vaishnava. So this is the vision of that. Now that person does not hate anything or anyone. Vijugupsate. So Vedanta Deshika, he explains this word in this way. That person neither criticizes anyone. Never that person will criticize anyone. That person will treat everyone as a family member. And that person will never dislike anyone or insult anyone. Okay? Because that person doesn't hate anyone, that person becomes a liberated soul. So this is something which we need to understand. Ichcha dvesha samuttena dvanda mohena bharata. Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, the concluding verses. If we are talking about love, and we really think that we love people or we love everyone, or we have great amount of love in our heart, that can be checked by, are we free from hatred? Bhaktivinoda Thakura says, if you hate anyone, anything, you have not attained pure love of Krishna. Because hate and love are opposite things. In a heart where there is pure love, there cannot be hate. So this understanding becomes an impetus for us to do what? It becomes an impetus for us to learn to not hate others. To learn to not hate others. To learn to not hate things. If we do that, then the fruit of pure love will not be tasted by us. So we'll discuss more later. Let's go to the translation and the purport. Yes, Vrindavan Leela Mataji, your question, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandapram. Prabhu, when you raised this question of seeing Krishna everywhere and everything in Krishna, actually, I was reminded of my initial days. Like in the beginning, I was connected to Ramakrishna Mission Ashram, and naturally it has its own impersonal thing. So there I was seeing, why do they have to do deity worship as such? Krishna is everywhere. So that was my approach in the beginning, and that's how I understood it here also. But later on, that was like seeing Krishna everywhere. Why do they have to confine it at one place? And second was, everything is Krishna means, this I came to later. Okay, we are connected to him, we have some sambandha with him, and we are his part and parcel. So that's how I was able to connect to it. Can you please tell me, is it wrong, faulty, how it is?
No, it's okay. As I said, different people will look at it differently. Those who are on Jnana platform will see differently. Those who are devotees, they will see it differently. So from pure devotion point of view, seeing Krishna everywhere means actually seeing Krishna everywhere. And seeing everything in relation to Krishna, or everything in Krishna means seeing everything in connection to Krishna, which doesn't mean that I only see everything in connection to Krishna philosophically or theosophically, but I see everything in connection to Krishna by using everything in Krishna's service. Now, someone may say, yeah, this tree has come from Krishna. Okay, done, finish. What next? Nothing next. But if I see that tree really in connection with Krishna, so let me pluck some leaves from that tree, flowers from that tree, fruits from that tree, and offer it to Krishna. So that connection is of seva, not just in connection of observation. You know? So those who are jnanis, they keep the knowledge limited to observation and philosophical deliberation. But the devotees, they take it further, which is, if it is connected, let me use it in Krishna's service.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's the most important point, actually. If we also don't do that, then we are jnanis only. Let's say if I see anything in relation to Krishna, but I don't then use that situation in Krishna's service, then I'm only a jnani. A devotee means one who is able to use that situation, that thing, that person in Krishna's service. It's a devotee. So that's how a devotee tries to do. That's what a devotee tries to do. Okay, let's go to the translation of this mantra. Prabhupada translates like this: he who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. He who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, and who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything. So there are three things. What are they? First, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Second, who sees the living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Lord within everything. Never hates anything or any being. Never hates anything or any being. We'll read the purport now. This is a description of the Madhvacharya, the great personality, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord presence is realized in three stages. The Kanishta Adhikari is in the lowest stage of realization. He goes to a place of worship such as a temple, church, or mosque according to his religious faith and worships there according to scriptural injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and nowhere else. So, is Krishna only in the Hare Krishna temple? Or is Krishna also in a temple which is not Hare Krishna temple? Or is Krishna also there in a church? Is Krishna also there in the mosque? Yes, isn't it? Is Krishna there in the... Well, this is something very interesting. Let me tell you a story. Once, in one of the Middle East countries, not Middle East countries, I think. Yeah, Middle East countries. I think it was Iraq or Iran, somewhere. One Muslim father took his son to a mosque to make his son study Quran. So the teacher told, Allah is everywhere. So that student, that young boy, young child, out of his curiosity, he said, really? Mullah Sahib, Allah is everywhere? He said, yes, Allah is everywhere. So he said, is Allah in stool also? So then that Mullah said, you rascal, you must be a demon in your past life. How can you think of this? How can Allah be in such a dirty place? He said, Allah cannot be there. So he said, you said Allah is everywhere. I'm just giving you an example. So then he said, you get out. You don't come back here again. The student removed from the class, came back to home, told the father everything. Father said, your mistake. You should go and tell sorry. Let's go. Next time he went again. He said, my dear Mullah Sahib, please give one more chance to my boy. Now he'll not speak like this. Again, the Mullah is teaching the lesson, Allah is everywhere. And the boy says, Mullah Sahib, I have a question. What is your question? Is Allah in stool? The Mullah gets red. His eyes get red. His lips get red. His ears get red. His face gets red. And there's smoke coming out from everywhere. He's so angry, So he said, you get out from here. Don't come and show my face again. If there is a demon in this planet, then it's you. So the boy went from there, and now the boy is frustrated. He has lost all faith on religion. Later on, he goes to Germany for education. He's studying there. He's an alcoholic, a druggist. So he was in a bar. And in the bar, in the trash can, when he was throwing something, he found a Back to Godhead magazine. In that Back to Godhead magazine, he read an article. In the article, it was written, Prabhupada says, God is everywhere, also in stool. So that day was his Eureka moment. Oh, I found it, self-realization, So he went looking for the address of that place. Where is this place located? Met the devotees, became a devotee, came back to the country. In that country, no one knew Hare Krishna Mahamantra, no one knew Sanskrit. So he printed Hare Krishna Mahamantra posters, and his father was in the government service. Big man, had a lot of power and control. So he printed Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Arabic in all the public buses in the country. So all the people of the country, they read Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that devotee was sharing. This is Prabhupada's potency of preaching. By telling someone God is in stool, he makes a deliverer of the whole country. That person goes to a country and preaches Hare Krishna Mahamantra everywhere. So when we said we discuss it philosophically, then we understand everything, not just on sentiment. So Krishna is there in the stool also. No problem, right? We understand it. He's there everywhere. So he's there in the stool also. So for a Kanishta will not be able to appreciate this. That Mullah was a Kanishta worshipper of Allah. So that's why he could not appreciate the fact that Allah is in the stool also. Kanishta thinks God is limited to a particular place, to a particular dress, to a particular culture, to a particular scripture. That person thinks like that. But A devotee of Krishna, a true devotee, not devotees like us we are talking about, a Mahabhagavad devotee of Krishna sees Krishna everywhere. Everywhere that person sees Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, once he was sitting in his room and he heard the that loud sound which Muslims make on the speaker, call for namaz, which they do 5 times a day. So in the speaker, they'll make the loud call. So Prabhupada was sitting in his room and he was talking to his disciples, and suddenly he was having tears rolling down his cheeks. And the disciples said, "What make you cry?" And he said, "See, they're calling Allah. So nice. They're calling Allah." So that's loud sound which the Muslim prophet is making in the loudspeaker, that makes Prabhupada cry because he thinks of Krishna. So that is pure devotee, seeing everything in relation to Krishna. And then Prabhupada commented that the sound that these people make, the way they sing their call to Allah or calling everyone to namaz, that is from Samaveda. That's from Samaveda. The sound is like the chants of Samaveda. So you see, a pure devotee of Krishna has that kind of vision. What a different kind of vision a pure devotee of Krishna has. Because that person sees actually Krishna everywhere. So let's read further. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and nowhere else. Only Krishna is only at the place of worship. He is nowhere else. But a pure devotee sees in what way? He sees Krishna is everywhere, at the place of worship also and outside the place of worship also. Right? Next, they cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service. So it's very important for us to understand these things, because until unless we know about the qualities of these different levels of devotees, we'll not be able to know where we stand and where others stand and how do we relate with them. So Kanishta Adhikari does not know who is what level of devotee, cannot tell. For a Kanishta Adhikari, if someone can give a very nice class, someone can make you laugh, someone is a very good singer, someone is a book distributor who has distributed thousands of books, someone who has made 5 temples in one town, or someone has preached to a lot of people, then that person becomes a pure devotee. This is how a Kanishta Adhikari thinks. Because pure devotional service is not actually related to all these things. Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj never made even a single temple. Right? Never. But he was a Mahabhagavata. So Kanishta Adhikari's vision is material, not spiritual. So cannot see the spiritual qualities. Cannot tell who is what level of devotee. They cannot tell who has realized the Supreme Lord. They cannot tell. If Prabhupada was present now with us, many of us would not be in ISKCON. Yes, many of us. You know why? Because Prabhupada was not at all a charismatic person, the way we think a person is charismatic. He was heavy. He was heavy. He demanded surrender. So many of us won't be in ISKCON if it was really Prabhupada's standard. It was really Prabhupada's standard. So sometimes people talk a lot. If Prabhupada would have been there, then, this movement would have been very different. Yes, the movement would have been very different, but without you. You would not have been there in the movement then, Because if Prabhupada would have been there, not everyone would have appreciated him. When Prabhupada was present on the planet, do you think everyone saw him as a pure devotee? We see him as a pure devotee because we are able to see his glories. That's why we see him as a pure devotee. If Prabhupada came before us in that, tattered dhoti kurta, which is dirty because of dust, and going around to different shops and telling, please buy one Back to Godhead magazine, please buy. Will we see him as a pure devotee of Krishna? Perhaps we will say, why you don't have anything else to do? There are many beggars around. Don't add one more to the list. That's what people saw him like. Only when he got the crown of success, then he became, oh, he is a great devotee. Before what? Before no one saw him as a great devotee. Let me tell you a true incident. There's a book. I love that book. It's called Our Dear Srila Prabhupada. No, Our Srila Prabhupada, a Dear Friend to All. Written by Her Grace Mula Prakriti Mataji. A must read. A must read. Because that book tells us how Prabhupada was a pure devotee, not before 1960, not after 1965 alone. He was a pure devotee from his childhood. He was a pure devotee when he was a Grihastha. He was a pure devotee when he was a businessman. He was a pure devotee when he was not a successful preacher. So that book is an amazing book where you have details about Prabhupada's life from his family members, from his friends, from his god brothers, god sisters. So this Mataji, she went to one Vrajavasi because she came to know he had met Prabhupada. So she went to that Vrajavasi and said, Babaji, you met our Guru Maharaj, our Gurudev. Please tell something about our Gurudev. And that person said, oh, Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, what a great devotee. I have never seen such a sadhu in Vrindavan. His sadhana, his character, his devotion, his ambition, everything was of the best level, like par excellence. Such a great Mahatma. I knew he will do something great. I have never seen such a sadhu in Vrindavan. When he was talking like this, the other friend of his who was sitting next to him cut him short and said, don't tell a lie. Don't tell a lie. And then he told Mataji, Mataji, let me tell you something, frankly. When this Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada used to come and meet us and tell us, my Guru Maharaj has told me to go to the Western countries and preach the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I'll go to America. After he would leave our store or shop, we would make fun of him. We would say, this old man has gone crazy. Satya gaya hai. He's thinking of going to America. He should just live in Vrindavan and do bhajan. We used to talk like this about him. We never knew who this Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is. After what he did, we realized. So that's why to know who is a pure devotee is not an easy thing. Not an easy thing. Just as Krishna hides himself, we should know pure devotees also hide themselves. Just as Krishna hides himself, and Krishna doesn't show himself to the demons, and the demons cannot identify Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna also hide themselves. Only those who are very sincere souls are able to then know who is pure and take this benefit of their association. So here Kanishta's vision is being mentioned, and Kanishta cannot see a pure devotee. Kanishta cannot tell who is a pure devotee, who is not a pure devotee. That's why what Prabhupada said, don't remain a Kanishta is a very dangerous position. If you remain a Kanishta, you will only do offenses and make your life hellish. That's what Prabhupada said. You will only make offenses and make your life hellish. So we'll read some more about Kanishta. Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another. So they will always have these debates. This seva is important, that seva is not important, this department is important, that department is not important. Why you are doing this? This should not be done, that thing should be done. So they are always quarreling about these things, but they don't look at the essence. What is the essence? A pujari, a temple president, is as dear to Krishna as someone who is sweeping the floor in the temple. A preacher of Krishna consciousness is as dear to Krishna as someone who is humbly making garlands for Krishna. Because Krishna ultimately sees why you do that activity, for devotion or for something else. So a Kanishta would quarrel, considering one type of devotion better than another. These Kanishta Adhikaris are actually materialistic devotees who are simply trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane. So majority of spiritualists belonging to any spiritual institution, they are Kanishtas, Kanishta Adhikari. Now the next is where everyone should put efforts to go to, and that is Madhyamadhikari, the next level. Prabhupada said, if you want to do something good for me, please try to come to this level. Then I can use you in my mission. Otherwise, you are useless to me. So these are Prabhupada's words. If you want to do something good for Prabhupada, try to become a Madhyamadhikari devotee. So we'll read about the qualities of Madhyamadhikari. Those who have attained the second stage of realization are called Madhyamadhikaris. These devotees observe the distinctions between four categories of being. First, the Supreme Lord. Second, the devotees of the Lord. Third, the innocent, who have no knowledge of the Lord. And fourth, the atheists, who have no faith in the Lord and hate those in devotional service. So Madhyamadhikari knows the difference between these four kinds of entities. One is the Lord, second, devotees, third, those who are innocent people, fourth, those who are atheists. And what does a Madhyamadhikari do? He behaves differently towards these four classes of people. He adores the Lord. He loves the Lord. The Lord is the only object of love for that person. First object, the foremost object. And then makes friends with those who are in devotional service. He loves others, but loves others. Why? Because they are connected to Krishna. If they are not connected to Krishna, he doesn't care about others. He loves others because they are connected to Krishna. So his love for others is secondary. The first thing is Krishna's love, love for Krishna. Then I love others because they are connected to Krishna. Then he tries to awaken the dormant love of God in the hearts of the innocent and avoids the atheists who deride the very name of the Lord. So this is what he does. He deals with different kinds of people differently because he knows the difference between them, and he knows that we don't deal similarly with anyone and everyone. That is impersonalism. To be equal to all is possible on spiritual platform, but at the same time on spiritual platform also we are not equal to all in all sense. We deal differently with different people. We give different amount of respect to different people. We don't respect all equally. We respect all, but we don't respect all equally. So that's how we understand. Above the Madhyamadhikari is the Uttamadhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. So an Uttamadhikari will see a devotee also as a devotee, a non-devotee also as a devotee. An atheist also as a devotee. Everyone has a devotee, except for oneself. I am not a devotee. Others are all devotees. So an Uttamadhikari sees like that. So an Uttamadhikari devotee doesn't preach, because the Uttamadhikari thinks, whom to preach? He is better, she is better. Why to preach? So anyone who is a preacher has to be either one belonging to Madhyamadhikari stage or an Uttamadhikari who has come down to Madhyamadhikari stage. One has to be there. Kanishthas, when they preach, they only damage. If someone is Kanishta, if they preach, they only damage, because they don't really know what exactly is Siddhanta, what exactly is the essence, So they have to be careful. The best is that they, first of all, understand everything nicely and they preach. Above the Madhyamadhikari is the Uttamadhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and a theist, but sees everyone as part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between a vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord. Although they are engaged in different bodies on account of the different qualities of their activities in their previous lives. He sees that the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him by the Lord, and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being engaged in the form of a dog. Not considering the respective actions of the Brahman and the dog, the Uttamadhikari tries to do good to both. Such a learned devotee is not misled by material bodies, but is attracted by the spiritual spark within them. That person never sees the body. That person only sees the soul. But at the same time, That doesn't mean that that person will be going around just embracing the dogs. No. That doesn't mean that. Some stupid people will talk like that. I love everyone, so I embrace everyone. I embrace a dog, I embrace a cat. Why don't you embrace a snake? Then go for that also, right? Go for that, but they won't go for that. So here when we say that Uttamadhikari sees equally, which means that person sees that every living entity is an Atma, and that entity has a connection with Krishna. And if there is a possibility to engage that entity in Krishna's service, then Uttamadhikari will try to do that. But on the bodily platform, Uttamadhikari will deal differently because the body is different. So an Uttamadhikari will not deal similarly with all kinds of living entities on bodily platform. That will be different. So next verse. Oh, yeah, next paragraph. Someone can read, please.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Those who imitate an Uttama Adhikari by flaunting a sense of oneness or fellowship, but who behave on the bodily platform are actually false philanthropists. The conception of universal brotherhood must be learned from an Uttama Adhikari and not from a foolish person who does not properly understand the individual soul or the Supreme Lord's super soul expansion, who dwells everywhere.
Yeah, very important. Thank you, Prabhu. I'll discuss on this. That's fine. We'll stop the reading now. Prabhupada says, we should not imitate an Uttamadhikari, which means, you see, only an Uttamadhikari can claim to say, I love everyone. Below that, one cannot claim this statement, I love everyone, because their love is only lip deep, which means it's only spoken love, right? What have you done for others that you claim, I love everyone? What have I done? Or am I ready to do? Love means I should be ready to sacrifice. So am I ready to sacrifice for every living entity in this world? Am I? No. The yogis who claim that we want to do good to all, you do your yoga sadhana for your benefit. But a pure devotee of Krishna chants Hari Nam for others' benefit. So pure devotee of Krishna does for others' benefit. He doesn't just say, I love everyone. So if we really say that I love, we should be ready to sacrifice for them. We should be ready to sacrifice for them. We should be ready to suffer for them. That's called love. But people, without being on that platform of love, they just do those goody-goody talks. I love everyone. I'm kind to all, love all, serve all, be compassionate to everyone. How can you be compassionate to everyone? Not possible. If you are really compassionate to everyone, then be like 𝗵𝗲𝗍𝗶, who fasted for 40 days. And then he was sitting to take his meal, and a person comes, I'm hungry. Okay, take. Then again, whatever is left, he's ready to eat. Another few people come, we are hungry, you take. Then a dog comes, take. Water is left, someone comes, give me the water. You take this also. This is I love everyone, right? So this has become very common these days, that people, they only talk nice, but they don't really act nice. We have to come on this platform before we speak something like this, that I love all, I care for all, I am kind to all. No, we have to come to this level of sadhana or paying the price. You know, one thing we should know, pure devotees, they do so much of tapasya, they don't do it for themselves. All their tapasya, they do it for the help of the conditioned souls. So are we ready to stop eating and sleeping for others' benefit? If we do also stop eating and sleeping, we do it for our own benefit, to free ourselves from our sins, to get some punya, to get some advancement in bhakti. But if someone tells you that you stop your eating and sleeping for others' benefit, for those other suffering conditioned souls out there, will we be ready to do? We won't be ready to do. And let's say if it is told to us, you do it and no one will come to know about it also, that you were not sleeping and not eating for the benefit of the suffering souls, but the world will not realize this until you die. Are you ready to do? You say, forget it. If I don't get the credit, why should I do? But the pure devotees are at that level. Their compassion is at that level. That they sacrifice for us. They do sadhana for us. Prabhupada has done so much for us. That's why he could reduce 64 to 16 rounds of japa. We should know who will be doing that remaining 48 rounds. Who will be paying the price for that? That Prabhupada is going to do. Prabhupada is going to do for us. That he will fill in, that blank he will fill in. Because we are not qualified to do. So he will say, I'll do for you. You do 16. So pure devotees are ready to sacrifice to that level. They have that compassionate heart. That's why they can say, we can love everyone. Once a devotee told Prabhupada, lady, Prabhupada, everyone loves you so much. How is it that? And Prabhupada said, you know why? Because I love everyone. And it is so true. I always feel this. I never met Prabhupada, but why do I have that attraction towards him? And that's same for every ISKCON member. We may have problem with anyone in ISKCON, but there is one person with whom no one has problem, and that is Prabhupada. Right? People may leave ISKCON, but they'll not leave Prabhupada. Why? Because of his purity. Because of so much of compassion he has. And though we have not met him, we can feel that he really, really cares for each one of us. He has done so much for us. So one has to be on that platform. It's not an easy thing actually to say like that. Prabhupada was like that, so that's why he could say like that. But nowadays it has become such a cheap thing. Anyone claims to love all and say we are compassionate towards everyone. Not true, cannot be true. Okay, next paragraph. Someone please read.
Can I read it?
Yes, Madhvacharya.
It is clearly mentioned in the 6th mantra that one should observe or systematically see. This means that one must follow the previous acharyas, the perfected teachers. Anupashyati is the exact Sanskrit word in this connection. Anu means to follow and pashyati means to observe. Thus, the word anupashyati means that one should see things as he does with the naked eye, but should follow the previous acharyas. Due to material defects, the naked eye cannot see anything properly. One cannot see properly unless one has heard from a superior source, and the highest source is of Vedic wisdom, which is spoken by the Lord himself. Vedic truths are coming in disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narad, and from Narad to Vyasa, and from Vyasa to his many disciples. Formerly, there was no need to record the messages of the Vedas, because people in earlier ages were more intelligent and had sharper memories. They could follow the instructions simply by hearing once from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So here Prabhupada then elaborates on the word anupashyati. This word anupashyati has come in this mantra and it will come again in the next mantra. So this is a very significant word because pashyati means to see and anu means to see in a different manner. What is that manner? Let's look at the slide. We have three meanings to the word anu. So pashyati means to see or observe. Anu means either skillfully or continuously or following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. So skillfully means what? You see, but then you don't see using just the eyes. You see with the knowledge. We need to use our common sense while we see. Chanakya Pandit, he has made a very interesting comment in this regards. He says, one who sees with the eyes. He says, one who sees with the eyes. One who sees with the eyes is an animal. he says. Which means if I just see with the eyes, I'm an animal. But if I see with the eyes of knowledge, then I'm a human being. One who just sees, that is an animal, right? So, anupashyati means skillfully. I see skillfully. I see the thing for what it is. I see it for what it is. Then continuously. And third, to follow in the footsteps of those who have seen it actually and are telling us, this is this. Look at this in this manner. You see it like this. So someone may say, the Prime Minister of the country is doing such a great job. We are having economic development. We are making progress. India is becoming a more successful nation. Okay, you say so and you see so. Do the Acharyas say like that? The Acharyas say economical advancement, that means degradation. Technological advancement, that means degradation. Acharyas, they see it like that. So how do I see them? I see it in the way the Acharyas see, or I see it differently. So anupashyati means to learn to see in the manner those who see and tell us this is how it is. We just look at it like that. Anupashyati, to see the way the Acharyas see, to see the way Krishna sees. We see like that. We don't see with our eyes. Our eyes will tell so many things, but we don't see it like that. We see the way Acharyas explain. And we see it continuously. And third, we use skill to see like that, systematically. How do we do that? To give an example. Let's say I'm using a table now. So this table is made up of wood. Okay. This wood has come from a tree. That tree was given birth by Bhumi Devi, earth. That earth is an energy of Krishna. The reference to that is verse number 7.4 from Bhagavad Gita. So the earth has come from Krishna. So when I see the table, I see Krishna. This is called skillfully looking at the table. Seeing the connection with Krishna. Being skillful at that. When I see a living entity who's in the dog's body, like previously it's mentioned, then what do I see? Oh, this is a spirit soul, which must have committed a very, very sinful activity in the past. Because of that, this living entity has got a dog's body. This is a punishment, an act of reformation to which this living entity has been put, so that this living entity can eventually come out of that conditioning, that impurity, get a human form of life, and again get a chance to serve Krishna. So this is how we need to learn to see. And how will we see that? How will it become possible? By Shravanam, Kirtanam, Mananam, by hearing again and again and again and again about it. Otherwise, more we won't. That's why hearing, studying the scriptures is so important, because otherwise we'll have a tilak on our head, kantimala in our neck, Vaishnava's dress, but our heart will not be of a Vaishnava. Everything else will be of a Vaishnava, but not the heart. That heart will change by going through the process of transformation, and which is hearing, chanting. The more we do, the more our vision will change. I'll give you an example. 6-7 years ago, when I was working in Mumbai with my friend, he had purchased a big car. So he just took me for a drive, 15-20 minutes. We are coming back to the place we were staying. We are living together. He was not married also at that time. So we are living together. So we came across a junction, a road junction, and there was a big hoarding, big, huge hoarding. And there was a diamond necklace there. Diamond necklace, beautiful diamond necklace. Must be very expensive. Beautiful diamond necklace. As soon as he saw that diamond necklace, you know what came out of his mouth? Oh, so beautiful. I wish I had the money to give this as a gift to Radha Ras Bihari. This is what came out of his mouth. Why? Because of the vision he had developed through sadhu sangha. That I see that necklace. So I don't see, I will give it to my wife, I'll give it to my girlfriend, or I buy it for myself, or I'll buy it at this cost and I'll sell it at another cost and make money out of it. No. This is such a beautiful necklace. This should go to Radha Rasbihari. So this is vision. This is how we need to learn to see. How will we do that? Sadhu Sangha. We hear again and again and again and again, then our vision will change. Anupashyati. We'll be able to see like that. We'll learn to see like that. I'll tell you another story, which will show how stupid I was, and I'm still. A few years ago, we were celebrating Vyas Puja in Vrindavan for His Holiness Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj. Maharaj is such an exalted soul, a Mahabhagavad devotee of Krishna. So he celebrates his Vyas Puja always in Jagannath Puri. Rath Yatra day of Lord Jagannath is his Vyas Puja day. And he never celebrates it with disciples. He's always in Puri attending the festival. So I was with His Holiness Bhakti-sastri Maharaj, and Maharaj was invited for the program. I went with him to attend the program. So this program was going on in Balaram Hall in Krishna Balaram Mandir. So those of you who have been to Krishna Balaram Mandir, you know where Balaram Hall is. So in Balaram Hall, this program was happening. As soon as we entered the gate, I did not even enter. Maharaj just stepped in and I was behind him. So I did not expect that Radha Govind Maharaj won't be in the program. I thought Maharaj would be physically present there because in general, that's how the Vyas Puja program is, that the spiritual master is present and is attending. So I thought on the asan, I'll be able to see Radha Govind Maharaj, but there was only a picture of Radha Govind Maharaj there. So I immediately blurted out, "Oh, Maharaj is not here." So Bhakti-sastri Maharaj is very sensitive and strong. So he turned around and he looked straight into my eyes and see, Maharaj is not there. And I looked at him and said, now my Jnani brain started working. Jnani brain, that I have knowledge of the Shastra. So now let me go back to that and try to understand what it means. What is this question? So I said, no, I mean, he's there, but his picture is there. He's not there. So then he again looked at me and said, is Maharaj not there? I said, his picture is there. Is Maharaj not there? I said, yes, Maharaj is there. Because his picture is there. And picture is there means he is there. Because this is a pure devotee of Krishna, there's no difference. So Maharaj said, yes, he is there. So this is called Anupashyati. You see the way exalted people see, not the way our eyes show us. So my eyes show me Maharaj is not there. But pure consciousness, if you see through that eyes, he is there. He is there. So this is how we need to learn to see. If we learn to see like this, then our spiritual master is always with us. Krishna is always with us. He's not far away. But if you don't learn to see this, well, then in life sometimes we may feel lonely, we may feel hopeless, we'll feel, where is Krishna? Where is Prabhupada? Where are my spiritual masters? Where is my shelter? But it's all there, available to us. We just need to learn to see. It's there. So this Anupashyati is very important. How do we see? This thing has to be learned. Now, how do we learn it? We have to practice developing this vision. Practice, time and again practice, time and again practice, time and again practice. You are losing faith, practice being more faithful. You are losing hope, practice being more hopeful. It's there. It's everything there. We have to just learn to see it that way. We just have to learn to see that way. So this is very important. Let's read the next paragraph. Who will read? No one?
Hare Krishna.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. At present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scriptures, but most of them are not in the link of disciple succession, coming from Sri Vyasadeva, who originally compiled the Vedic wisdom. The final, most perfect and sublime work by Sri Vyasadeva is 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃, which is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. There is also Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken by the Lord himself and recorded by Vyasadeva. These are the most important revealed scriptures, and any commentary that contradicts the principle of Bhagavad Gita or 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 is unauthorized. There is complete arrangement among the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃. And no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without receiving instructions from members of Vyasadeva's disciple succession, who believe in the personality of Godhead and his diverse energy as they are explained in Sri Upanishad. Can I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. According to the Bhagavad Gita 18.54, only one who is already on the liberated platform, Brahma-bhuta, can become an Uttamadhikari, devotee, and see every living being as his own brother. This vision cannot be had by politicians who are always after some material gain. One who imitates the symptoms of an Uttamadhikari may serve another's outward body for purpose of fame or material reward, but he does not serve the spirit soul. Such an imitator can have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttamadhikari sees the spirit soul within the material body and serves him as a spirit. Thus, the material aspect is automatically served.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, thank you. So here again a very important point brought up by Srila Prabhupada. First of all, let's look at this previous point which is mentioned. What is Prabhupada doing? He's basically giving us the flow of the Vedic knowledge, how it evolved, and then he brought us to 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃. So what he's trying to do, he's telling us how we should learn to see through the Vedas. And in the Vedas, it started from the Vedas and then came down to Bhagavatam. So for us, if we want to learn to see, we will learn to see as per the knowledge of Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he has given something what we also discussed in the introduction to this book, how the Vedic scriptures were divided and on and on and on. Now in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, only one who is already on the liberated platform can become an Uttamadhikari. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na Kangshati. Now, this is not an easy thing. Brahma Bhuta stage is very, very high. It's really, really high. You know, until unless one is a really successful yogi or an advanced devotee, one cannot come to the stage of Brahma Bhuta. It's something very high. And before one goes there, one cannot become an Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari means a liberated soul. There may be many good devotees in our movement, but there are only few who are liberated souls. Liberated souls are very rare. I mean, very rare. Liberated souls are one in millions and billions. You don't find them easily. So it's not ordinary thing to be a liberated soul. Those are greatly exalted personalities, you know, really exalted personalities. And this vision cannot be had by politicians. Then Prabhupada is telling, in general, people cannot see the way Uttamadhikari sees. They can only imitate, but they cannot really be like an Uttamadhikari. They can try to show that they are an Uttamadhikari. What important lesson do we get here? Something very important. Nowadays, you know, it has become such a common habit amongst people, especially not talking about devotees, outsiders. They listen to motivational classes, they read books on motivation, and they start imagining that they will become like the speaker or the hero or the ideal person in just a few days. You know, that's only cheating. If we want to become like someone, we have to pay the same price that person paid to become like that. So if let's say you watch a video, how to reduce your sleep to 3 hours a day. So that video may be of 5 minutes where the person talks about reducing the sleep to 3 hours a day. And then we may think, today I watched the video, tomorrow I'll be like that. 3 hours a day sleep. I'll be a Superman or Superwoman. It won't work like that, because what has to change first is consciousness. When there is a change in consciousness, everything changes. The mind changes, the intellect changes, the body changes. Naturally, organically. Otherwise, it's only an artificial show. So we should not so much waste our time in these motivational talks. If you really want to get the benefit, a long-term benefit, of course, you might not be doing it, but for someone who does it, don't waste your time in motivational talks. If you have time, read Gita, read Bhagavatam. That will change your consciousness. When that consciousness will change, you will change as a person. Otherwise, motivational talk will be like, you can do it. Today you are sleeping in japa. You hear this lecture, tomorrow you won't sleep in japa. But the person who gave the lecture, next day he was sleeping in japa. No? So if you really want to change, we have to find the root problem and then root it out, which is, we really take shelter of Bhagavad Gita, Sadhu Sangha, Harinam, Vaishnava Seva. We do these things, then we will change, then we will change. Just by imitating or imagining, I have become a good devotee, we will not. We have to really pay the price. We have to do that. We must do that. Otherwise, we won't be able to get that experience of what true devotional service is. So, following a sadhu means what? You hear from a sadhu, you see a sadhu, you derive inspiration from the sadhu, and you don't just stop there. Then you try to apply in your life. And then you see every day, how am I making the progress? How am I making the change? That's very important. We cannot really become like them. Sometimes when we see these great souls, oh, they are so wonderful. Maybe in 10 years I'll become like them. No, only if you pay the price. Just by staying in 10 years around in the movement, I'll not become like them. I have to pay the price. Once His Holiness Radhanand Maharaj gave Diksha's program. There was a Diksha program, he gave Diksha to many devotees, many disciples. So whenever a spiritual master gives initiation, it is generally seen that it fires back, in the sense it shows in their body, it shows in their mind. They will have some reaction to it. Either they will get sick or they'll have bad dreams because they have taken bad karma. So it has to be nullified. So they do that through their purity, through their sadhana, they nullify the reaction. But they will have some fever, some headache, or some problem, or some bad dream, some nightmare they will have. So once Radhanand Maharaj gave initiation, and then he was having very bad health after that, just the day next to him. Some disciples came and said, Maharaj, we want to serve you, we want to help you. So please give us some of your pain. We are your disciples. You give us your pain, you share, we will take your burden. So very good sentiment, very nice sentiment that we want to serve a pure devotee. So let us go and tell the pure devotee, please let me help you. So Radhanath Maharaj, what did he say? He said, you will die if I give you that pain. You don't have the capacity to tolerate it. You will die. It's not an easy thing. So we can think, no, I can become like that easily. It's not so. We first have to know the price to pay. When we get associated with the movement like ISKCON, because of the brand ISKCON has, the success ISKCON has, sometimes without our qualification and our deserving it, we get much more than what we actually should be having. There's nothing wrong about it. But then at the same time, we should know we have to make ourselves qualified for it. If we have been mercifully uplifted to a position where we don't belong, sooner or later we have to become qualified to be in that position. So this is very, very essential. Spiritual life is a very serious thing, very serious thing. Someone asked me, 2 days ago, why the Ishopanishad classes are getting so heavy. So then I told, because if this Ishopanishad class would have been the first subject that the students did in Bhakti-sastri, it would have been different. But because it's the last, it has to be like this. So please don't mind if it's really getting heavy. It's really getting heavy. If it's not the basics, generally Ishopanishad is considered the basic book, and the heavy book, the advanced is NOT, NOI and stuff like that. But because it's the last, we are speaking like this. Otherwise, we would have just done the ABCD, simple stuff. So here, we as practitioners have to really understand the process and work towards paying the price. If you do that, then this movement is such a powerful movement. You will see the magic happening every day in your life. You'll see the Krishna magic happening in your life. You'll have your personal realizations, very sweet realizations. So let us become very serious about it. That's what these verses are telling, that we have a long way to go. Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. Let's try to come from Kanishta to Madhyama, knowing that this is the goal. These are the 4 qualities: love for Krishna, friendship with devotees, compassion for innocent people, and staying away from atheists. 4 things. We try to do that. Try to become like that. And then by the mercy of Krishna, Radhesham, someday we will be elevated to Uttama platform. And how do we do that gradual change? Sangha. If we remain in the association of Kanishta, we'll never become a Madhyama. You want to become a Madhyama, take the association of those who are on Madhyama platform. If you want to go from Madhyam to Uttama, take the association of those who are on Uttama platform. Very important. Very, very important. Especially for preachers. This is a big danger for the preachers in ISKCON. After some time, they stop taking association, then they only give association, which is a big danger. We should have a balance between both, that we give association, but we should also be taking good association from our seniors, and be progressive. After some time, what happens is, I have become a hero now, I have become a heroine now, I have so many followers, so I now only give association. But that's not very healthy, not at all healthy. Let us give, it's very much needed, but also let us find out time to go out where we can get nourishment for ourselves and make progress. In this way, our superiors go back to Godhead, we go back to Godhead, those who are behind us, they go back to Godhead, everyone goes back to Godhead. So this is very important. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Any questions? Adi Satviki Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much. I do appreciate your class. This was the best one so far I have, heard from you. But the explanation you have given about Uttama Adhikari, I could feel my Guru Maharaj in every step.
Yes.
And
Your Guru Maharaj is an Uttama Adhikari. His Holiness Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai. And I could see what sufferings he's been through just through your, talking to us. And it was such a brilliantly, like a Anupasati, exactly what you were doing in the class. And I can see all devotees, most probably they were, they were realizing, about their Guru, so it was so much enlightening speech you have given today. And you are such a young man. I mean, like, so much
I'm
of
not a young
observation.
man. My Guru Maharaj calls me a young boy.
Yes. You're like son. So you are such a brilliant, young boy, and you have got such an observation. I mean, like, absolutely, I'm so thankful.
Thank you, man.
My day, and you made my Bhakti-sastri very successful today, because I could see my Guru Maharaj's position through you. So thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. We are helpful. And if you have found anything good in our classes, it's all the blessings of our Guru Maharaj, spiritual masters. Nothing to my credit. As Guru Maharaj says, I am just a young boy. Nothing more than that. Yes, Hemangi Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, as you explained in the class that Uttamadhikari, they don't preach to the people. So in our movement, all the Maharaj, they are engaged in preaching activity. So are not they Uttamadhikari?
They are Uttamadhikari who for preaching come to the level of Madhyamadhikari. They are Uttamadhikaris, but then they will, for preaching's sake, they will come to Madhyamadhikari.
Okay.
Because as an Uttamadhikari, they will not be able to preach because they will not see anyone as a non-devotee. So then they come to Madhyamadhikari and then they start seeing the difference. This is sincere, this is not so sincere, this is like this is like that, you know. So they come to that level. Actually, if they act on Uttamadhikari platform, most of us will offend them. Because an Uttamadhikari does everything which a normal person does not do. Yeah, Uttamadhikari does everything which normal person does not do. He's like a crazy person because he's mad in love with Krishna. So it's very difficult to appreciate the activities of an Uttamadhikari. If they start acting on Uttamadhikari platform, it will be very difficult for us to appreciate. You know, they'll be like really, really insane because love of Krishna overwhelms them so much, they will forget everything. They'll be like an avadhuta, like how 𝗵𝗆𝘆𝗆 Babaji was. People would come and say, Pranam Maharaj, get lost from here. If someone behaves like that with you, what will you think about that sadhu? You know, say this sadhu is pagal, isn't it? Correct? So they are on Uttamadhikari platform, but for preaching's sake, they come to Madhyamadhikari. And because they come to Madhyamadhikari, sometimes neophyte disciples don't see them as Uttamadhikari Vaishnava. They think, Guru Maharaj is also eating nice pizza. I also eat nice pizza. So Guru Maharaj must be like me. Guru Maharaj is going to hospital. He gets sick. I also get sick. So he must be like me. So then that danger is there, you know, that we see that person as ourselves, like us. But he's just coming on Madhyama platform to help us. They are Uttamadhikari, coming on the platform of Madhyamadhikari to preach. When they will stop being on Madhyamadhikari platform, then they'll not preach, they'll just do bhajan. Just do bhajan. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Like you giving an example, just giving an example. Take the example of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj at his present situation. You know, at his present situation, in the way he is. No, he's like, you tell him something about Krishna and you see tears in his eyes. You know, anyone is doing a drama on Krishna, he'll start crying. Anyone is talking about Krishna, he'll start crying. That's how an Uttamadhikari behaves. If one is on Uttamadhikari platform and behaving on Uttamadhikari platform, that's how a person will become. So that person then stops thinking, you know, using the intelligence, devotee, non-devotee, good, bad. That person sees good in everything. Everything. That person sees good. Everything. So it's not easy. That's why, you know, to be in association of Uttamadhikari and actually not do an offense, one has to be very, very careful. Very careful, because we will misunderstand. We will misunderstand. We'll easily misunderstand them. Easily misunderstand them. Right? Okay, Mataji, thank you. Ashok Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, my question was same as that of Hemangi Mataji. So understanding is now very clear that Uttamadhikari, out of compassion for people, brings himself down deliberately to the level of Madhyamadhikari to preach us. Like Prabhuji, you are doing.
Oh,
you
no,
are
no, no, no,
yourself
don't,
to our level.
don't,
make us understand,
don't, please do that. I mean, we should know our feathers. I'm a black crow. and I'm still a crow with black feathers. So, Uttamadhikari is really advanced stage, Prabhuji. I'm not being humble. I'm telling you the fact. Uttamadhikari is a very advanced stage, very advanced stage. Uttamadhikari is not a joke. We all are struggling sadhakas, somewhere in Kanishta stage, somewhere trying to be in Madhyama, like that we are. Far away from Uttamadhikari, far, far away. Long, long way to go. This is honesty. This is not humility. This is honesty, right? This is honesty. Okay, thank you. Yes, Pranamakanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, if you could please repeat the name of the book you mentioned.
Our Srila Prabhupada, a dear friend to all. Our Srila Prabhupada, a dear friend to all. Beautiful book. I've read it 2-3 times. Amazing pastimes. I like to read about Srila Prabhupada so much. So many books.
And Prabhuji, one more thing. You mentioned about Rantidev.
Rantidev. It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam. The story comes in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay.
This king is there. Prabhupada mentions he's a pure devotee of Krishna, Rantideva. Very beautiful story, very inspiring story. It comes in, I think in detail is given in Canto 9. Canto 9. Beautiful pastime.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Rajneesh Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So my question is, Prabhuji, since we all are taking this Bhakti-sastri course, so I just want to understand. So our aim should be like from neophyte. I'm just taking my example from neophyte devotee. We are gaining the sastra knowledge, and our aim should be to become Madhyam Adhikari at least. Like after completing this course, we should have more of association, and then one can gradually move to Madhyam Adhikari. Is my understanding correct?
Yes, Prabhu. There are so many factors to it. One should have Guru Padashraya, take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, then associate with spiritual master, to seva to spiritual master. Along with that, take sadhu sangha, regularly chant, hear, all the limbs of bhakti. Then gradually, over a period of time, will come to Madhyama. It's not a overnight job to come from Kanishta to Madhyama. It takes time. Over a period of time, we'll come to that level. And the Nishtha develops gradually, slowly it develops. So we will come to that stage by this sincere, rigorous practice. We'll come to that stage. It will take time. So we just have to follow the path properly. And there are many things on it. There are details and there are principles. Principles are this: sadhu sangha, Nam bhajan, Bhagavad Shravan, Vigraha Seva, Guru Padashraya. So these things are that we do. Okay. Okay. Vrindavan Mataji, is that same question which put in the chat box, Mataji?
Prabhu, that one and another one.
Okay. So let me answer that first. Huh? I'll answer that first and then take the one which you have to say. Okay. I'll answer that one which is in the chat box first.
Yes.
Then,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the question is, there are 3 levels of Anupashati. They are overlapping. They are not overlapping. First is, you see, let's look at this. Anupashati means to follow those who have been in the past, our acharyas. So that is one meaning. So you see in alignment to their vision. Okay. But then you don't see that 2 minutes in a day. You see that continuously, which means you see it 24 hours a day, right? Third, they have given you a vision, they have given you a sight, but then you have to also put efforts to align your vision with that vision. Intellectually you have to do that. So that is the skillful part, isn't it? That's the skillful part. I see it that way, but how do I see it that way? I need to develop it as a skill. It has to, first initially it will be like, okay, my acharyas have told me like this. But then the acharyas have told about some situations through some examples. How do I apply that to all the situations of my life? So this has to be developed as a skill, which over a period of time I'll be able to develop. So that is, you put efforts and it becomes a part of your ability to see like that. So that's the skill part. Continuous means it has to be done every moment. And direction coming from where? Coming from the previous acharyas. Okay, so these are these three things. One is direction, another is frequency, and the third is my efforts.
Prabhu, can it be really developed as such?
Yes, it can be developed. It can be developed. It is a part of the living entity, the jiva, the soul. So it has to be developed, means we need to practice it. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 𝗵𝗲𝘆𝗶𝗀𝗍 yoga-yuktena tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. So anusmara is same as anupashyati. Then what is the next verse? Abhyas yoga yuktena. By practice it is possible. So by practice one has to develop it.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, my second question was like, in the course you just mentioned, like if Uttamadhikari is the way he is, will be really very offensive. And I think I'm very fortunate to have somebody, my own Guru Maharaj. And unfortunately, I feel like he's still at that level, and I find it so difficult to relate to it. So how do we really deal with that? Like, in one way, we have to take their association. And then secondly, there is a problem that I should not do any offense in the process. So how do we deal with this situation?
So that's why it is said that when we associate with Uttamadhikari Vaishnava, we don't associate more than our adhikar. Which means each one of us has an adhikar of how much, what kind of sangha we can take. So we should associate to the extent it doesn't become over familiarity. So too much of familiarity. So we extend to the example is given of a fire. If you're too far from fire, no benefit. Too close to fire, you get burned. So you have to be at an optimum distance from the fire so that you take the benefit of the fire also and you don't burn also. Likewise, serving an Uttamadhikari means you serve from a distance. Which distance? Two kinds of distance. If you are a neophyte, physical distance. If you are not a neophyte, psychological distance. Psychological distance means? It means we know the difference between ourselves and the personality in our consciousness. We are pretty clear about it, that this living entity or this person is not on the same platform as I am. Keeping that psychological distance, one will never be offensive. Once we forget about the psychological distance, then offenses start coming. So one has to be very clear in the mind. So best is we associate, but at the same time, it's not that we only associate with Uttamadhikaris. We associate with Madhyamadhikaris. That is also important. That's also required. We learn from all. We learn from Uttamadhikari, we learn from Madhyamadhikaris, we learn also from Kanishthadhikaris.
Of course.
So we associate with all. So it has to be a balance. This also, this also, this also. It has to be balanced. Someone who over-associates and is not careful, that person commits offense and falls down. Look at the history of ISKCON. Most of the Prabhupada disciples who were personal servants, they all fell down. Most of the Prabhupada disciples who were personal servants, they fell down. Why?
Yes.
Familiarity. So one has to learn this. That's why even those who are pure devotees now, they don't spend too much time with any disciple. They spend time, they go. Spend time, they go. They know too much closeness, finish. Same thing, if you are a preacher, don't let those who are learning from you get too close to you. Because if they get too close to you, they will start taking you as the preacher lightly, casually. So the preacher has to learn this. The spiritual masters, they know about it. So they know how much to associate, how much to not associate, how much time to give, how much time not to give. Because they know the danger involved, that If these people commit offense, then finished. Their life is finished. Devotional life is finished.
I think there is some reference, no, Prabhu, where it is said, a pujari, a wife, a disciple who is very close, they need to be very, very cautious. I don't know where it is, but
I
I've
also
read it
don't recall
somewhere.
that. It's there, true. It has to be there.
Yes,
Pujari has to be
yes.
very cautious, otherwise they start considering deity as an ordinary object. The wife and husband both have to be very cautious. That is a major reason why so many husband-wife relationship in the present times are ending in divorce. You know why? They're spending more time than it is required to spend for a good, healthy relationship. Yes, they're spending more time. When you spend more time, you stop valuing that association. And when you stop valuing that association, it ends up in divorce. I'll tell you from the example which I have seen in my family. Father has gone to work, and the mother is at home. And it's a big family, joint family. So she has to serve so many people, serve the grandfather, serve the grandmother, serve the younger brother of father, of husband, serve the children of younger brother, serve so many people, then look after the maids who come to the house, So what time they get to meet? Maybe at night time when he has come back from home and she's just serving the dinner. That's what the time they get to talk. Finish, whole day went like that. But then they could stretch that relationship for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, Nowadays, 2 people, 3 people at home alone, no one else, So then what happens? Too much we mix with one another, we stop valuing one another's importance, and then there is a breakup. So this is important, very important. And this is a major reason why there is divorce, because you start losing respect for that person. You start, you stop valuing that person so much, right? That's why for any healthy relationship, these 2 elements must exist. Meeting, separation. Meeting, separation must be there. You should meet, you should separate. If you only meet, relationship dead. If you only separate, again dead. So this is something which is happening in Krishna's Nitya Leela, and it should happen in any relationship also. Okay, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so then there is a comment. Prabhupada said God is everywhere, even in stool, but is not contaminated by it, just like saying, yeah, of course, he is not contaminated. How can he be contaminated? Now, one thing which I wanted to announce, it just came to me because last time we were discussing about Ritvikism and spiritual master. So now, in this movement, we have spent some time, and I see many devotees in ISKCON, they have so much of confusion related to this topic of Guru Tattva, whom to take initiation from, who is a pure devotee, what about my relation with my Diksha Guru? I hardly get to meet him or consult from him and things like that. This was a phase through which I also went through, and I have lived in ISKCON temples inside. So I know many devotees go through such phase in life, even those who are outside temples, they also go through. So a few years back, we started on a project of bringing out a book on this topic, which will help devotees on personal, this relationship aspect with spiritual master. So we came up with this book. It's a very nice book. You can find it online. I highly recommend this book. It's a very small book, Spiritual Connection. So very beautiful book where we have taken stories from scriptures, and those stories are case studies, which will help us to make our relationship with our teachers or spiritual master very deep, very, very deep. So 3 years of efforts went in this book, and the authorship is to His Holiness Bhakti Damodar Maharaj and Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, because the book is compiled on their lectures. We have taken it from their lectures. But we have very nice recommendations. My Guru Maharaj, he has written, I recommend that every serious practitioner of bhakti must acquire and absorb the teaching of this book. So if anyone is interested, contact me. This will help you throughout your life. I can promise this, because this relationship which we have with our spiritual master is the most important relationship any person can have, spiritual relationship, right? So this book will guide us to that. It's very, very nice. So you can let me know later on WhatsApp. And we will
What's the price, Prabhu?
Well, the price is very small. It's just 100 rupees. And then maybe 40 rupees for shipping, 50 rupees for shipping. So that's the price. It's a pretty small book, but then it's very deep, very deep.
Yes.
It is for nurturing that relationship which we have, and it will guide us, like how, how in situations when we lose faith, how to bring that faith back, and how to look at the spiritual master. In spiritual life, how will the Guru test us? What kind of tests will come in our spiritual life, So all these things are explained very nicely. So we'll be happy to send to you. Thank you. You can to get this book, you can just send me a message. I have a big stock of the books with me.
Okay.
So you can let me know. It's available in English and Hindi. It's also available in Portuguese, French, if you like, and also in Chinese, if you like. But I'm sure English and Hindi would suffice.
Prabhuji, in Gujarati is available.
No, Madhvacharya, not yet. Maybe someone who knows Gujarati well can translate. It's not available now though. Okay, but the English is very simple. It's very simple English, and Hindi you can easily understand. We'll stop here. Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for so wonderful class.
3 times Hari Bol for Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.